Shalom. I like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Bakaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, told me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim preaching this word with truth and sincerity around the four corners. Peace and salutations to the Israelite foreigners. You know, the Israelites that look like the heathen, that live amongst the heathen. And shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, the true believers of the hopeful elect. Just coming back in the spirit and theme of prophecy. And I wanted to speak about the how do you put it? I wanted to speak about Walmart. Not Walmart, Walgreens. Salakia. Walmart got stores closing too, but Walgreens got a lot of stores closing. You know, I watched the brother out of New York camp, out of the main camp. His YouTube, Kadar Shapat, his YouTube page is Kadar Ban Yahweh the 12. You see? So subscribe and be edified. And that's how I learned about Walgreens. Even though I kind of already knew about it. I did a lesson on it a little while back. But, you know, call this an update. So I'm going to read what I Googled, hit a couple of precepts, and Lord's willing, this will be edifying. Salakia. All right. I Googled Walmart closing 500 stores because I believe that's what it was in the video I watched. And it says, yes, Walgreens Boots Alliance is closing 500 stores in fiscal year 2025, which ends in August. So by August, they're going to close 500 stores. That's a lot of stores. It says this is part of a larger plan to close approximately 1,200 underperforming stores over 3 years. It says a move driven by cost cutting and a focus on its retail pharmacy business. Yeah, so basically cost cutting. You know, they're basically, America's broke. You know, America, just because you could print money out of thin air doesn't mean that your business is booming. America's been on the decline for decades now, ever since they took gold off of the standard in the 70s, you know? So, like, to be perfectly honest, to put it bluntly, America's done. And this is just more proof. You see the heading of the articles. It says hundreds of PA, I believe that's Pennsylvania, Rite Aids marked for closure. See which pharmacies near you are shuttering. List of Walgreens stores closing this month. That's a... You see, this was published yesterday. And you know, with the stores closing, that means there's jobs being lost. So people are losing their livelihood, you see? And since people are losing their livelihood, they're going to they're going to resort to, you know, certain people are going to resort to you know, getting it the old-fashioned way. And that's by hook or crook, you know? So You know, basically, we're getting into the beginning stages of the economic down spiral of America. Stores closing, and the next thing you know, that the money's going to crash, and the next thing you know, they're going to come with that implantable device that you can't buy or sell without it. You know, I'm talking about the MOTB, the mark of the BEAST. You know. So, you got to get ready. Let me read a little bit of this. It says Walgreens is closing more than 20 stores this month as the drugstore giant looks to boost revenue and shutter underperforming locations. And you see, I just read where they want to close up to 500 by August and 1,200 in the next 3 years. So, you know, that's a lot of stores. It says the closures. Oh, yeah, I already read that. And it says why it matters. It says many retail giants have slimmed down their national footprint in the years following the COVID-19 pandemic. Lower brick and mortar demand as a result of online shopping, as well as inflationary effects on spending, have played a role. Malls have long been falling out of favor, with almost 25% of America's largest anticipated to close by 2027, according to research from real estate services firm Green Street Advisors. Yeah, because mostly people do their shopping online. You know, with Amazon and Temu. You know, just to name a few. So, you know, with online shopping being big, you know, the physical brick and mortar stores, they don't really have no use for them. You know. Then it says what to know. While Walgreens operates roughly 8,500 stores nationwide, the pharmacy and drugstore chain has closed about 2,000 locations over the past decade. That's a lot of stores, man. Then it goes into why Walgreens is closing. The Walgreens is closing because they're losing money. You know, America's done. This is just more proof that America's done. I did a video, I believe either yesterday or the day before, talking about CVS. CVS is closing. Walgreens is closing. You know, I just watched the elder brother Hawad out of North Carolina, GMS North Carolina 777. You know, he did a epistle. He did a epistle on stores closing down. America's is done. It's literally done. And wait till when you can't get gas anymore. You know, wait till when you can't get food anymore. This place is literally turning into a third world country right before your very eyes. Let me read a little bit of this. It says the closures. Why is Walgreens closing stores? The closures arriving this month, as CEO Tim Wentworth and said Walgreens is embarking on a turnaround plan. That's what they always say. They're going to bounce back, or a turnaround plan, or build better. Man, America's done. It's like the money in Babylon is almost dried up. That's why all of the real money makers, you know, like the elite bankers, the top banking families, All their people have left America by now. Anybody who has money has already left America. And whoever's still here, they really can't leave. You know? It says, we are confident it will yield significant financial and consumer benefits over the long term, Wentworth previously said. Because more consumers are using online prescription services like Amazon.com, pharmacies have felt pressure on their bottom line as costs rise. You see? Just like I was saying, people are using Amazon and for pharmacy, using Temu for mall purchases. So there's no need for stores like CVS and Walgreens and Rite Aid and what's the other one? I can't think of it at the moment, but there's no need for the stores like that anymore since people are shopping online. And the stores in the mall, you know? It says, in the last quarter of fiscal year 2024, Walgreens reported a $3 billion loss, an increase from $180 million the year before. Only 6,000 of its stores are still profitable, Wentworth said. So that's why they're closing down. That's why they closed down 2,000 of them since a decade ago. You know? America is definitely out of here. Alright, let me get a couple of precepts closed. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 3. And it reads, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. And who's the keepers of the house? The top elite banking families. And whoever runs America, which is the top elite banking families. You know, they're trembling because they see that they see that their end, they see that their reign of over America is coming to an end. You know, they're trying to move into their new phase. They're trying to move into their new phase of dominance, which is the MOTB. But the Most High has different plans. It says, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, you know, the jobs, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, you know, that electronic bird, that alarm clock. There ain't gonna be no need for it no more, because you ain't gonna have to wake up early, because there ain't gonna be no job to go to. It's gonna get crazy out here very soon. These people are going to lose it. You know? Says, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, the music nowadays is garbage. You know? Yeah, the music nowadays is garbage. So this prophecy is coming to pass as we speak, as I make this lesson, this epistle. Let me get the feature scripture. Matter of fact, before I get that, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 15. It says, well, I'll start at 14. The points in I'll start at 14. The points in 15. It It says, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. It says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. You see, there's not going to be any more jobs. All of these stores closing down, you know, all these malls closing up. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs that are going to be lost. These people are going to go crazy, you know. As a wrap, let me get the feature scripture that I got in the last one I did for CVS. This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 8 and 9. And it reads, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country. That's what's going to happen. The merchants that came here, these other nations, like the Ishmaelites, you know, so-called Arabs that's in your corner stores, the Elamites, the dot-head East Indians that's in your stores, Moab, Ammon, the so-called Chinese, Japanese that's in your stores, you know, they're going to leave. You know, that run your laundromats and all of that, they're going to leave. It says, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Yeah, you see? These people are going to leave because there ain't going to be no more business in America. You know? So get your popcorn ready, because the festivities are starting to begin. So Lord's will, use edified. Till next time, we're going to say shalom to the elect.